Yeah, we just had the belief, you know, and
Man. Yikes.
I thought you were going to take the high road there.
So it's the morning after the Leafs got eliminated in 7 games by the Florida Panthers in the second round of the playoffs. You obviously had Brad Marchand, who played a pivotal role in this series, icing the game off yesterday with a Game 7 empty net goal on top of his other contributions throughout the series. I thought this was a pretty funny moment between him and the panel following yesterday's game. Him and Biz have been going at each other all series long, and look, like Marchand or hate him, the guy knows how to win, and he has some pretty good one-liners like this one right here. If you didn't know, this is his 5th straight Game 7 win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's never lost a series to them. Even with the Bruins out of the playoffs this year, he still finds a way to knock them out. And he actually said some stuff in a couple of post-game interviews, which I really agree with. A couple of conversations I'm not sure that every fan is ready to have about Canadian sports markets in general. But just have a quick listen to this right here.
You know, when you're playing for an actual cup and you give up a 3-game lead and then you're in Game 7, like, that's a high-pressure game, right? But when you actually look at that, and then when you see the pressure that Toronto faces and you know, everyone's talking about whatever the 20, 30-year build-up, I don't even know what it is, but you see the fans and the way they're talking, like, they just beat the pressure into this team. And it's got to be tough on those guys to walk to the rink every day and not feel that, because I mean, you see the way the fans treat them at the end. Like, how do you not feel that every single day?
So look, say what you want about Marner and Matthews not showing up in big games. I do agree with that to a certain degree, but I think there's a reason why Florida just felt so composed even after they went down 2-0. No one was saying anything that bad about them, but whenever the Leafs won or lost, it was either the highest high or the lowest of lows. I see the argument a lot of people that say, oh, they're professional athletes, they get paid a lot of money, so they shouldn't feel this pressure that people are trying to put on them, or somehow just block the noise out some way. I think it's very easy for someone on Twitter to jump on with no profile picture, some burner account, and say something like that, never even having played puck before, let alone in front of millions of people. If the players of the opposing team are literally saying that, I think I'm going to trust that take a lot more. And I hear what he says, and it's true. There's a reason why the past 4 to 5 Cup winners have been Vegas, Florida, Tampa Bay. There's not nearly as much media or attention or pressure to have to deal with. Tkachuk literally said that himself in the Spittin' Chicklets podcast this morning right here.
If their team was not in like Toronto dealing with all like the crazy circus stuff outside of it, like they'd be like an unbelievable team and like such a hard team to play. Like they just have so much to deal with, and I feel bad. I mean, we don't have to deal with that in Florida, and I feel like that's what makes me and my team so lucky. But like you almost use that against them, you know, like the pressure that these guys have to deal with day in and day out. And
you go back to the finals last year with Florida and Edmonton. Florida was on the verge of the biggest Stanley Cup playoffs collapse in NHL history, going up 3-0 and nearly blowing the Stanley Cup. If they did lose that Game 7, it probably would have been a story for a week, and then people would have dropped it. If you put Toronto in that situation, they'd be talking about that 30 years down the line. And the reason why I say that so confidently is because we've seen it play out before on smaller scales. Look at 2013, 12 years ago. Toronto lost to Boston after a 4-1 lead collapse. Keep in mind, that's a first-round playoff matchup, and I'm still hearing stories about that today. So I don't know, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, whether you agree with me or disagree. I don't really care, I'm just calling it the way that I see it, because it's true, and the players are starting to say it as well. So if you don't agree with that, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm no stranger to a Canadian market. Growing up here in Vancouver, it's brutal here as well. I did want to see the Leafs win this series, but I guess it wasn't the case. I have a lot of Leaf off-season coverage coming up in the summertime, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Peace out and take care.